Coaches, what's going on? It's Coach Ian Tatum here, back with another video. And guys, it's a little bit of a different one. I've had a lot of people, it really was a lot, DM me over the last several weeks, kind of being like, "Hey, Coach, I got put into a position where now I'm coaching offensive line. I haven't been coaching, the guys up front ever in my career, so I kind of got thrown into it because my coach trusts me." Or it's a situation of young guys being like, "Hey, I'm coaching O line. I'm trying to understand a little more about the offensive line. Can you help me out?" So I decided to make a new video, kind of detailing some things where I kind of advice that I give them to start out, some things to think about. Before we get into that, make sure you hit like on the video. Last video, y'all absolutely killed it with doing that. It really has helped with the algorithm showing love with the video. So if you'll do it again, make sure you hit a thumbs up if it sounds good. Appreciate everybody for doing that. And make sure you subscribe. Guys, we're trying to grind to 3,000. We're about less than 500 away. So if y'all can help me with that, I really, really, really appreciate everything and all the support everybody does. But let's hop into the video, guys. Today, we are going to be talking about advice for new or young O-line coaches. Okay, and pretty simple. And this won't be extremely long. But I kind of do want to, detail some things. So, right, advice for new line coaches. Kind of the first thing I want to get into is find a mentor, and find somebody that has been in the game, somebody that has been coaching, especially specifically offensive line for a while now. That you think, hey, this is a good guy I can really lean on and get some advice. So, a couple of things that I use a mentor for, right? It's a soundboard for ideas. If you've been doing some research, watching clinics on YouTube or Glacier, wherever you do that, and you're trying to find some ideas to put in with your own guys, use your mentor as a sounding board, right? And let me back up real quick. Mentors doesn't necessarily have to be older coaches. It has to be somebody that you trust, right? Somebody that's going to be honest with you. So, and we'll get that in a second. But it's somebody that coaches it, right? So find somebody that can help you out. So a soundboard for ideas like, "Hey, Coach, I'm thinking about doing this. I'm thinking about doing that. What do you think?" And kind of somebody with real world experience, right, that you can call on, right? "Hey, this front's kind of giving me some issues. I'm not really sure how to drill something. What have you done?" Right? It's kind of get somebody that can give you some ideas off of that. And then somebody that's going to be honest with you, because you don't want a yes man. You don't want somebody, hey, you come up with an idea. Maybe they've done it before and didn't work for them, or hey, maybe they have a better idea, but if you have a yes man, they can be like, "Yeah, man, do it. It sounds great." And then you go out there and do it, it blows up. So have somebody that will definitely be honest with you, and you can kind of piggyback off their ideas and their own experiences, right? Because if you have a mentor with 10 plus experience coaching offensive line, so now you kind of have, 10 plus experience in your back pocket that you can always call on. And that kind of goes into being prepared. Have a plan for the day. If you're gonna have to work on picking up stunts and twists, call on your mentor, be like, "Hey, what are some drills? What are some things? What are some coaching points that you have done in the past?" And you can kind of go into practice with that stuff in your back pocket. Next, right? Have your philosophy. And this is more of a coaching philosophy, not really a personal one. But your coaching philosophy, why do you coach? You need to know that. This is really for new coaches. If you've been coaching a while and you got thrown into offensive line, you probably already have this, but even if you don't, understand, why do you coach? Why do you get up and go out there to practice every day, right? And it can be a grind sometimes, but why do you go out there? Why do you coach, right? You need to figure that out. I'm not here to tell you mine or tell you what you should do, but you need to figure out, why do you coach, right? Do some little bit of reflecting. Look yourself in the mirror and figure that out. And once you do that, it'll make you a 100% better coach, not just an offensive line coach, but a coach in general. You need to know your non-negotiables, right? What will you not sacrifice on? What do you want to instill in your players and your group, right? Because I believe if you're a position coach, you need to be the head coach of your position. So what are some things that you're not gonna, non-negotiable? You're not gonna, slack on. You're not gonna, budge on. And there's some things that you want to hang your hat on, right? You want to be tough. You want to be efficient. You want to have great communication, all those types of things. So you need to have those in your mind and write them down, right? That's big advice that I'll give you. Write them down, have them. Give them to your kids, right? If you do like spring meetings with your guys, which I encourage you to do, I'm doing mine now. Make sure you have things written down. Your guys know, hey, coach is not playing when he talks about these certain things. Okay, and then schemes that you know really well, right? You might be really knowledgeable on inside zone, right? And y'all, if you run inside zone, that's great. You need to know what you know really well. You need to know the ins and outs of it. You need to know um, all the problems that can come with it. You need to know all the answers to those problems, and that kind of goes into being prepared. And then drills that you know really well. Okay, you need to have drills, and we'll get into drills a little bit in a second. But you need to have drills that you know will have those help you with those answers to those problems in the running pass game. And then going moving on to drills, right? You need to have a drill list. You need to have a set of drills that you know, hey, these are my EDDs, right? And they need to cover a wide range. But here's some things to think of, kind of starting out. You have drills that work on footwork. Footwork is one of the technical sides of playing offensive line in any position that for that matter, but especially offensive line because it's not natural to play offensive line. So you need to have drills set up so you can work on their footwork, whether it be boards. I'm a big boards guy. I've used boards all my career, right? Doing just simple drills. And at the bottom down here, this kind of goes for everything. Progression on all of them. Okay, so you need to have a baseline. You need to make it tougher and tougher and tougher, so it gets more and more looking like what they'll see in the game, right? So have your footwork type drills, whether you're working a reach drill, whether you're working your zone drill, your down block, any of those type of things. Work on your footwork. Then you need to work on your handwork. You need to work on punches. You need to work on if you work a flipper. You work your hand placement on certain blocks. If it changes off of certain blocks, you work on your handwork as well. So the guys are comfortable, right? Thumbs up, using your palms, elbows in your ribs, all those things. And coaching points, you need to work on your handwork as well. Okay. Run game. You have run game drills, right? Run game drills, at least for me, I'll kind of get to a couple, right? It's working on those double teams, working on those fit and drive, right? And that's progression off of it, right? So you work on a fit and a drive, and then you work in your stance, fit and a drive, right? And then you're working on double teams. You can fit up. You can work your double teams, moving them off the ball, and you can work them in the stance, doing the same thing. Then you can add a linebacker in there. You can work on communication on getting off of the double team when a linebacker presents himself. And then from there, right? Stunt guys, stunt and twist and blitz linebackers, right? That's the next progression, right? Show them real life, real things that the defense you've scouted will do to your guys. So that's kind of things in the run game. And then, progress off of those. And then pass pro, right? Have your pass pro drills, whether it be set them all on the line and have them work on their sets, inside and outside jump sets. And then work on hand fighting, right? Independent hands, all of those types of things come into your pass pro, and then work on one-on-ones, right? Get in there with the D line, get in there and get some live reps in there sometimes, and let them go after it, so they can get some more game simulation, and they're going to know how to problem solve when they get in there with the pass pro and the pass blocking. And then you need to have your oh crap drills, right? Put your guys in lose situations or in bad blocks and show them how to recover from it, right? So if you are supposed to be reaching a guy and he's gotten by you, show him how to gain leverage again, right? Show him where he needs to get his hat across, where he needs to put his hands to kind of recover so he doesn't caught for a hold or doesn't caught, giving up a block, stuff like that. Because a lot of times kids will just give up, right? If they're in a bad situation, but show them, hey, you're in a bad spot and you're oh crap situation, but this is how you can recover, or at least you can make enough of a block where a running back can make a cut or a quarterback can step up and still make a throw. So have your oh crap menu, your drills, all that stuff. So definitely have a drill list. That is really big. So you're not kind of out there on the field like, well, what are we going to do today? I guess boards. Well, how are you going to progress it? Or I guess we're going to work on double teams. Okay, well, what kind of double teams you're working? You're working gap double teams, zone double teams. So have a progression, have a list that you want to kind of get through. From there, then here we go. So these are some things I have in my OL manual. I do. I advise people to have an offensive line manual. Kind of just some things kind of we're going through right here that kind of are basic one-on-one of playing offensive line, right? What do you want them to do? So you don't have to always say it over and over again. And the kids at the end of the day have a place that can go back and reference when they're not with you, right? It kind of cuts down on a lot of questions, which questions aren't bad, but if you get the same questions over and over, if they're not understanding it, maybe having it in front of them in a place they can get on their phone, they can see it all the time, will be a lot better, right? And that works for my guys as well. So stance, right? Nice kind of detailed stance, right? Feet slightly wider than your shoulder width apart, and balance, right side of the ball, aligned. We'll have the right foot back in a staggered stance and vice versa. Now, this is very general, and on the field or in the gym or wherever you're working on stuff in the spring right now, hopefully you are, you can kind of you show them exactly what you want, right? You can kind of coach up that stance where they can get comfortable, right? But the most important thing, especially for me, regarding stance, is for them to be comfortable. As long as it's effective. And then head up, flat back, stuff like that. Then next, right, goes to their alignment. How do you want them to line up? Especially for me, right, guards are in a 3-point stance, tackles are in a 2-point stance. Now I know in this diagram, all my guys are in 2-point stance. Cool. We were very good 2-point stance, right? And we didn't lose any leverage. We didn't lose any, firing off the ball, any of that stuff. And those guys knew as soon as we did, they were back in the 3-point stance. So they kind of bought into the 2-point and staying low and firing off. And then your splits, right? Splits are huge for any offensive line coach. But for me, guards and tackles will take a 3-point, split foot, 3-foot split. And the tight end, 3 foot from them. They can adjust accordingly to need, right? If you have a guy that maybe he's not great with his footwork, but he's strong, so you really need to play him, right? You can move him a little bit closer to a double team, right? Or move him closer to where he needs to pull, stuff like that. And then their vertical, how far off the ball they are. For me, I want to be as far back off the ball as possible. I want the referee to tell us to move up, right? Do your job as a referee, tell us to move up. And then inside foot of the guard and the tackle should be on the center's heel. So my guard will come up. He'll put his inside foot. He's on the left side of the line to put his right foot on the center's heel. And the tackle will line up off the guard's inside foot. And we stay straight and all those things. Okay. Then from there, gaps and on D-line techniques. So this is all in my OL manual, and I go through this stuff, man. I think it's really big, especially for young guys. You need to know your D-line techniques, and you need to know your gaps. And then so you can teach your offensive line these different things. Because learning the game of football is becoming a lost art. So we got to make sure that we're good, and we got to make sure that our kids are good. So obviously we know the techniques. I've already done a video on this. If you want to, it's the latest the video before this, where I go over gaps and techniques and kind of my double team calls, which we'll get into a second. I encourage you to have terms and blocks. So these are terms and blocks for me, right? Play side to the play, backside is away from the play. It's really big for me for installing plays. Your down block, block first man, backside, pretty self-explanatory. Solid, no pull, block your gap, like for gap scheme plays. Skip pull, you pull and you block a second level defender. Trap pull, you pull and kick out a first level defender. Right, and this is just a reminder type thing. Now you need to coach it up. Like I just can't say, hey, you're skip pulling and just let him go, right? Because he doesn't know what to do. So you got to make sure that you've coached up what it is. So now when he hears skip pull, he's like, yeah, I know how to do that, but I don't remember what it is. So now he can be like, oh yeah, skip pull is second level defender. So I got skip, right? Same thing with trap, first level defenders. Hinge, right? Protect your inside gap. Then you block back on the in-man line of scrimmage, backside of power, right? Reach step, 1 foot, play side step, with 2 feet behind the line and run. Right? That's more of a reach, outside zone, sweep type of step, right? And then GODD, gap on, double down, front side of gap scheme. That's my rules right there. Push, block outside defenders. And then SIP, step play side, and then climb to the linebackers, right? So these are just terms and blocks that I can always reference, or I'm always telling guys, hey, remember this, remember that. So they'll always have this here, okay? Then double team calls, you need to highlight your double team calls. Again, I've already made a video on this, right? Check it out. But ace deuce Tate, scoop slip Tate, play side and backside calls, right? I'm kind of skip through these. There's the center and play side guard, play side tackle, tackle and tight end. Then you have your backside guard in the center on scoop. You have your backside guard, backside tackle on slip, and then same thing, Tate with the backside tackle and tight end. All right. So you have your run plays, right? You need to kind of tell them those type of things. And then you need to have your pass protections. Okay. So that's kind of where we are, guys. We're new offensive line coaches. I hope you really did enjoy this video. This is my contact information. If you need any help, guys, I would love to sit down and talk to you through some offensive line stuff. And I'm not a guru, man. I'm really not. I just have a passion for helping people, right? People have helped me all of my career. So if you really do need some help, you need somebody to kind of be that soundboard for you, I'm always available. There's my cell phone. There is my email, X, Instagram, stuff like that. Please hit me up, right? I'm always available to drop ball. I'm always, willing to share anything that I do know. And then if I can help out anybody in any way, I definitely will do that. But guys, end of the video here. Please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out more than you guys know. I try to keep this stuff free, and it always will be free. And that subscribing and liking and comment always helps that out. But until the next video, I'm Coach Tatum. Make sure you're coaching for the kids, man. And remember, run the football.